like a Hellcat. I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Invincible.
Hi viewers, I am Coach Abhishek from Chessbrainz, bringing you the 9th Chessbrainz Club Arena. We have today Coach Nirav Vishal with us. He's an AIM, Arena International Master. Hi Nirav, how are you doing today?
Hi Abhishek sir, I am Arena International Master Nirav Vishal. I am obliged to join today's 9th Chessbrainz Club Arena today. And I'm really excited to join and have a commentary with you.
Definitely. I'm really excited. The action is just about to begin in just few seconds and we are going to quickly dive into the games. To all the parents, we would like to tell you one thing. Type your kids' username in the comment section so we can take your kids' games. And we have already got a couple of requests, so we'll start with them immediately. Okay, the action has begun. So the first request we are getting is for Parth. We are quickly going to dive into his game and see who is he taking on.
This
Yeah. Oh, just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this game, Parth is playing from the pieces of white against Hikaru bleeds. So what is your take on this position?
Actually, can we look at from the starting position a bit?
Sure.
The
So
opening.
when we see from the start, there was French
Okay.
defense on the board.
Yeah. Exchange variation.
Yes, French
We
defense
need,
exchange.
we need to.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a slightly early skirmish going in the battle, and here White decided to castle long in the position, and here the game is currently going in.
Right. Uh, in this position, Black has not yet castled, so White's plan should be to do something in the center itself, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Rook E1.
Rook
Rook
E1
E1
can be
likes
one of the good ideas, and then you can
Right.
put pressure on that frozen bishop, right?
with Knight G5.
Knight G5 can be one of those important moves. But we
Just
see Black is doing an early pawn storm without castling. Can you tell our viewers how the kids can counter this sort of early attack?
So actually, when your opponent doesn't castle and plays like this, the generally what the kids do, they get scared that, oh, my opponent is attacking on me. They get panicked and they just capture the pawn. So what is my thing which I want to tell them is to just keep this side close, play a4, right? And because your opponent hasn't castled, just try to open the center. And once your opponent castles like that, you can start. Yes, you can play on the center and you can also play on the king side. And your bishop is beautiful on the g2 square, your light square bishop.
Yes. True. So the point is, when opponent develop their pieces, right, they are likely going to be developed in the opening towards the center. So when you counter attack in the center, you get a lot of pieces to target, and you can obviously gain tempo and distract your opponent from their main plan, right?
This is a one mistake.
Okay, so G3 ended up being a blunder in the position, as the pawn was not guarding the knight anymore, and the kid has lost their knight in this game right now. But definitely there is an opposite castle, so there is going to be a lot in this position actually.
Bishop g2 is threatened to just take the exchange.
Yes. This can be helpful for the white to recover their lost material, but we need to see how black plays in.
Bishop g2.
I think black's plan is to go knight c3 at some point and get that outpost on the board, right?
Exactly. In this position, bishop, no, it's not a great idea. Just giving up your bishop. Simplification is not good.
No, definitely, because the kid is having less material, right? So we often tell our kids not to trade down pieces when you have less material. But we can see white did that, and a bishop is a long range weapon, right? You want to keep it till the end game. And I think this trade might not be good, but maybe the kid was trying to, get rid of that outpost before it happens, because that can turn up a devastating outpost near the king.
They must go all out now with g4, g5. That is the only thing.
I think they should sacrifice some of more pawns, try to get open files on the king, and then I think we are fine.
I wanted to ask you a question, Abhishek, sometimes there are scenarios when, children, they know the things, but they just blunder the pieces. So according to me, I think that I gave advice to them that you should ask yourself that what is the purpose of your opponent's move and what's the purpose of your move. Just verify your move before playing it. So what's your advice on this?
Definitely, we should check, our move twice before making it. And that's what we tell to our students, right? You think twice, see what your opponent has made a move, why have they made that move, and then the game can flow. Kids have played some moves in the position, so I'm just fast forwarding a bit for the real position. And here we are. There have been more trades by the white in the position, which is not so much favorable. But I think black is having a clear edge in this position to win.
Right.
I think black is going to win this. Can we take on some next request?
Sure.
Yes. I think black will end up winning this game. The next request is getting for the Kailash. Yeah. So, In this game, Kailash is playing from the pieces of white against Akash. He's taking from black. When I look at this position, I can see white has did the castle, but their castle has been destroyed by the black already. And there is some again early skirmish. Black hasn't castled yet, and there is a threat of knight takes c7 as well in the near future. But when I look at the position, I think black is doing fine in terms of the material. What is your take? I think there's a time difference.
Here, of course, black is having a great attack here, and maybe he should just exchange the queens and keep the game simple by long castling. There might be some practices as well out there. Right.
Definitely. There can be some tactics. We just need to see if... Okay, there's a check. Queen can't take. I think black is all fine right now.
Queen h4 and a mate is coming.
Yes.
So this is going to end.
A mate in 1 now.
Right.
Okay, so basically a very good game by Akash. He just completely dominated in this game. And though the kid has not castled, but even if you are leaving your king in the center, we often recommend our kids to leave the center closed, right? And that is a way by which you can leave the king in the center and you can still try to play. While a primary advice is obviously we should castle, but this is just an exceptional demonstration of their ability. Yes. We can take on the next request, which is for Rudransh. So, Rudransh is playing as black against Rishi. They are playing as white. And we are into a juicy endgame. Which side would you like to play here?
Of course, it's black who is almost winning there because black is having 2 extra pieces. And along with, I think they are having like 3 extra pawns out there. So how to win it easily is to just trade rooks 1 by 1, play rook fe8 and then rook e1, exchanging both the rooks, and then just easy win by pushing the pawn.
Yes. I think the game is really simple for the black here, and there are no thoughts in it. They can try to attack something, but I don't think if black should currently worry about the material. As you stated, simple rook e8, rook e1, just trade and simplify the position, and you are all in.
Exactly.
Also, this rook is a bit inactive. It should come into the activity as the kid has entered in the endgame already.
The rook is hanging on b2.
Yes. Oh. The kid needs to spot it now.
Right. Oops.
Oh.
Now the knight is also hanging. So some twist coming there. Now just simplification is a very simple thing. Otherwise, there are some things which goes on there and here and there and here, and so much chaos is on the board. Definitely. So a better way is to just simplify sometimes. Mate is coming,
Definitely.
Right?
Mate is coming.
Right, knight h4 and then a mate.
Then the game is going to be quite easy here for the black I see. It's just matter of a couple of more checks and the game is going to end.
Yes, exactly.
Now rook check finishes with rook e2 now. So position seems quite okay for the players I see, and there's no, there's no struggle for black. I'm going to say that. Anyways, I think it's just a matter of one more move and the game will end.
Yes, if the kid spots it. Rook check.
I think they should. Yes. So a very good game by Rudransh here, showcasing his ability. We are going to go to the next game now. Okay, now the next request is for Cavalier. Okay, so Cavalier is already leading the leaderboard and he has won both of his games. So what we can do, he is not into a live game, but we can demonstrate his game that he has already completed.
Sure.
Yes. Oh, he got paired. Yeah,
third game
he now got paired, so we can take that game.
Perfect opening till now.
Yes, the game is going quite fine. He's taking against Bhavik. He's playing as black, and Cavalier is playing as white. But there is a massive rating difference of 500 points, which can, create a difference. Obviously, this is completely showcasing, but we never know. Even a 1,000 player can demonstrate a very sharp game. We can not underestimate any player right now.
Queen e2 should be played to protect the e3 pawn. Castles is
Exactly.
a bad.
Castling is not going to be a good option here, so Queen e2 is definitely one of the moves that kid should play.
And Abhishek, I wanted to ask, according to me, this double e-pawns have both the things, pros and cons as well. Like, yeah, here black played in the wrong way, so it is an advantage because they got the center right.
Yes.
So, yeah, so a fork. What is your general thought about double pawns on the center?
A very good question, actually. So generally, double pawns are considered as a weakness in chess because these pawns cannot guard one another. But when they come to the center, you just get more and more, area to control in the center. So double pawns rather becomes a strength. And with a double pawn, there is always going to be an open file around it, which can obviously used by the player, and it's a two-way thing. But in the center, I think it's a strength before the end game. In the end game, I think the center pawn loses their value. So till the end, or till the end of the middle game, I think this is a strength for the white right now. And black found an easy fork in the game, and obviously now white is slightly dominant. Now this is the current position, and black has set up a battery here.
Long castles. Okay, knight.
Yeah, long castle is a very good option, and rook f1 could have been used to gain a tempo on the queen if needed.
Yes. Right. Just simplification should be enough to win this game.
Exactly, because we are up in the material, so nothing is better than trading, right?
Yes. Short castle is expected, or even long short castle best.
Works. I mean, it's not a problem, I guess. You move the knight, and there's a chance of a discovered attack as well. Can you explain our viewers what is a discovered attack in chess?
Actually, discover attack is when two of your pieces are aligned, and when you move one of your pieces, the piece which is behind it makes attack. Yeah, beautiful, really beautiful. The rook which was behind the knight, actually the knight moves, but the piece who attacks is the piece who is behind. And this is called a discover attack. We just discovered the attack on the black queen using the piece who is behind.
Exactly. It's like digging the soil and finding the treasure, right? Because soil covers the treasure. So yeah, good game. And definitely there's a back rank as well. I mean, if black doesn't spot that, okay, they have spotted, but knight captures rook.
Yes, great
and
chances.
Queen f8 is Queen f8 is like the game over right now.
Yeah,
done. So a very good game by Cavalier here, but definitely his rating has actually stated why he's on that rating range right now, and he has like won 3 games in a row, and he's leading the leaderboard right now. To our viewers, currently 47 students have participated in this tournament, which is a very good number. Okay, we can take on one of the random games right now. So we are going to take the game of Raghav Sharma. He's playing against Sony. Raghav is playing as white, and Sony is playing from the pieces of black.
Okay.
And what is your take now?
This is the variation which I see. I taught this variation to one of my students. I think this is the e4, e5 Italian opening, like knight takes e4 variation. So here, what is my recommendation? Yeah, just queen b3. And white is having a strong initiative, and if black is not careful, well, black is just going to lose in a few moves.
Yes. I think this is there's a lot of aggression from the white pieces. We can see all pieces are having a beautiful activity on the board right now, and I think white is going to create a lot of trouble for the black right now. But would you recommend the black to leave the king in the center for too long?
No, he should castle as soon as possible. That is the best advice I can give.
Oh, the knight is falling now. Check. King has to move.
Then bishop a3.
Yes.
And then rook e6 is an interesting move. Rook e6 now.
Yeah, rook e6 can be tried. We need to remove this covering to reach their king,
That
right?
is a great tactic. Bishop 8, king f8, bishop a3, king g8, rook e6.
Yeah. And then you can bring your last rook into the battle and there's a pure dominance on the board, right?
Right.
Beautiful game.
Really good.
Okay. There are a lot of ways to continue here for the white.
You're right.
Like you can just, this is not a viable because of knight captures. Otherwise, the position seems okay for the white. I think they can easily win this.
Right. Knight d5 is the only blockading problem. Otherwise, bishop b2 was also working. But the knight d5 problem is there.
Yeah, this knight has, stood a bit stronger. And because, it's in the opponent's half of the board, so it is creating the problems for the opponent. This is we tell our students for the middle game, right?
Yes. Maybe rook c1 was a better choice because when knight d5 is played, you can play rook c4.
Yes. Rook c4 is also a very good option. But yeah, I'm hoping that white will be able to find an easy way to come out of this. For the black, what can we suggest the black? I think they should get their inactive pieces into the battle and they should find some way to make their own king safe right now. I think these are the two advices which will apply for their game. Also, I'm just thinking if we could have got the bishop back and we could have tried like bishop g5, that could also have been a good approach, right?
Right. And black should try to play like g6 and king g7. Just get your king out of there on the 6th rank.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, knight d4, very great.
Yeah.
Actually, white is just twisting the very things like first he thought about bishop b2, then knight d2. So many thoughts going on in the mind. This is going to be a very chaotic game.
Yes. In the meantime, black is also slowly trying to come back in the game, but nothing is more than a king safety, right? So
Correct.
That will decide, the further role of the game. Goes back. I'm just looking for some tactics in the position to go more aggressive right now. I'm trying to calculate that.
Okay. Bishop b3. Knight b4. Oh, knight b4.
Yes, knight b4 is on the
Knight
board.
g5. Oh, queen.
There's a
c5,
fork.
right? Queen
Yeah,
c5.
works. Fine.
White is better now because
White is clearly better now. After we take the rook, even you have more material, and this can turn out to be really an easy position for you. Just bring your last piece into the battle. Like that is the only suggestion. Yes, you can just trade and simplify as well, right?
Yes, that is really good. Knight e6 and then queen c4, queen b7 is also.
Queen b7 is
Queen
okay.
b7.
I mean,
Queen b7, queen b8, just winning the rook.
yeah, anything is fine right now. I mean, because white had the initiative towards them of the game, due to which they can do literally anything. They have a lot of choices, right? This is where we tell our students to get the activity, develop your pieces on the right squares in the opening, bring them into the activity in the middle game, and you are going to have a very crushing attack on your opponent if you do these things with the right discipline.
And Abhishek, can you tell our viewers about what is initiative?
Yes. So basically, initiative, I mean, the word says it all, right? Initiative is like the one who controls the aggression, the one who controls the power of the game, the one who is attacking, the one who is taking all the stance on the board, the one who is making the first moves to the attack is the player who carries the initiative of the game.
Right.
I mean, we can just simplify as well if you don't want to complicate,
Yes.
right? Queen captures, d6 is on the board, yeah.
Exactly.
Just take back, and like they can't even take back. So king takes, there could be some checks. You can take this pawn.
Then white is definitely going to win.
Yeah, just only thing they need to look after is the back rank, but they're refusing to trade the queens.
Okay.
Pawn can't come in. If queen comes, are you looking for rook d1?
Rook
King
d1
can
or
also
rook
move.
e7?
But if that moves, then there is rook e8, right?
Checkmate there.
I think rook check, and then you take with the queen.
Exactly.
Yes.
Overload.
Yes. Overloaded. King has to now go away, and the queen will be left hanging. You can just simply take. Just check, I guess. You can simplify, or you can just go for a mating attack now. You can simplify here as well if you want. Anything is fine.
At this level, taking the initiative is the best thing, because kids, they just struggle to keep the material and just handle the pressure. So it's better to give the pressure on your opponent by giving some of the material in general.
Definitely. So here, I think Raghav showcased a very good ability on the board, right?
Exactly.
We can take on the next request. Parents, we would request you to drop your kid's username to check their game. Okay, so we are getting a request for Kailash again. We can just see how is the kid doing. Okay, so he has already completed a game, but I see, yeah, it's like we can take his game later on. Obviously, you can take a game from some random name. Can you take a random name from this list?
Who is this King Kong? No, not this. 31. What's its written? I can't read it.
Yeah.
31. Yes.
The name is Shuchai. You can make the screen as your full screen to get a clear board, a clear glimpse of the board. Yeah.
Yes. Now I can see. Yes.
Yeah. So this Suchai has already completed the game. He was playing from black against Dishank. They were playing from white, and both seems to be on the beginner level right now. And when we see the game, okay, black is going a bit aggressive to take the center, but obviously knight captures e5 was there.
Knight.
Yes.
Bishop e7.
Oh. They had some advantage, but castling leads to the drop of one of the important piece, right?
Yes. At this level, just we need to see what's going to be get captured and what's hanging in our position. That's really important to see.
So why the kids blunder like this at the beginner level? What is your suggestion for the beginner kids to cover up their, to reduce their blunder rate in the position? What can they do? Any advice for our viewers?
Actually, there are two advices. First advice is, when you are just playing your move, before that, just for a fraction of a second, just verify your move, that it's not going to get, you are not going to blunder a piece or a checkmate like that. Second advice is, when your opponent plays a move, just ask yourself, what is the purpose of my opponent's move? What is the thing he wants to do? Is he threatening to capture my some pieces or like that, or threat a checkmate? These two things, if the kid does, then I don't think they are going to blunder anything, 90% of chance. Right.
Definitely. And it also comes on the board where the practice makes a difference, right? You regularly show up to your journey. So a very great advice by you. It will definitely help our younger kids to grow their game. The game has later on progressed where I think white was moving one piece repeatedly. I think that is where they can make a bit of change.
Opening principles, exactly.
Yes.
Great point.
The basic ideas come into the battle, right?
Yes.
Oh, black also, I guess, blundered their bishop, but it's completely fine. At the beginner level, it's important that they just show up regularly to these tournaments. Yes. And they practice. I think that practice will help them to gain experience, and eventually with time, they will reduce the blunder rate and they will end up flourishing themselves into a good player. Now here, if you see, black had two calculation mistakes. Rook e1. Yes.
And then can you tell us about this thing of how many attackers and how many defenders we should have when we are playing a particular thing in some positions? Because kids have this confusion of number of attackers and number of defenders in the position.
Definitely. So when I tell you about this, our syllabus is tweaked by our grandmaster, and they have included a topic which is called as multiple piece interaction. So definitely the kid must have gone through all this. And the way is basically, you need to have more number of attackers when you are attacking. So if opponent is defending, let's say, the square twice, we need to attack it thrice. If you go here, then queen is the only piece who guards the rook, right? And if that could have been guarded one more time, then definitely this attack was succeeding with a pin. Correct? And when we are defending, we can have equal number of defenders as our opponent is having the number of attackers. And I think that's enough to solve the problem. So if I want to attack the square, I need one more, piece from my team who can attack the square. Otherwise, I'm going to be in the trouble. And then we can see in this position, the queen lost, and I think white must be having an easy game from here, right?
Yes, white should be winning very soon.
Yes. I think they're threatening the back rank, but this knight is the only problem to it. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. So I can say one thing. I think black has definitely learned about the back rank mate, right? When kids regularly do those positions, those puzzles, they can spot these patterns into their game. And even though we see black was completely losing, they still came out of the ashes and they took the throne on their head, right? The crown. So yeah, we can go to a different game now.
Sure.
So we are getting a request from Aryan. In this game, Aryan is playing from the pieces of white and Bhavik is playing from the pieces of black. When I look at the position, both have worked on their king safety. Then it comes down to the activity of pieces. And I see white is slightly ahead in the race because the black has yet not developed their light square bishop, whereas the white has did it. And then it comes down to the pawn structure, which is fair for both the parties, I guess. So I think white is having slight edge in the position. What is your take?
You are right. White is having a slight edge in this position because of the positioning of the black queen. Black is violating the opening principles a bit. And as their plan is now just going to get down, trading the bishop is not a great thing here. Bishop h3 is interesting. Yeah,
I mean, I understand there are no helpers after the queen once they sacrifice the bishop, but this kind of pawn is called as a hope pawn, where the kid can easily sacrifice one of their piece by giving 3 points, getting 2 back. But the king safety, can be imbalanced, and that's where black can take slight edge. Then maybe some rook lift sort of idea can help in the position later on, right?
Yes. And one story I want to add, that when I was 1500, 1700 leeches rated, I also used to sack like this queen d7, bishop g4, bishop takes h3, and just have a chaotic game, f5, rook f6, just bring the pieces and checkmate the opponent. That is a really great thing that which you mentioned.
Exactly. When the kids are at their early phase of the learning, they should first learn aggressive chess before controlling their aggression, right?
Exactly.
That's quite important. First, you need to understand what's your true potential, and then slowly and steadily you can bring it into your control. But first, you need to reach the peak of your game. So definitely going aggressive is one suggestion to both the players here and all the players of our tournament rather.
True. And that's why the opening which we first teach to the kids are this e4 opening. The e4 opening is generally a very strong aggressive opening. Yes, and then we just shift to positional game very later. First, we want the kids to be really aggressive in the game of chess. Just have a great game, have a sacrificing game, an attacking game.
Definitely. The queen on c6 has been blundered. I mean, the kid had time. They could have thought a bit. And when you see their rating range, right? Bhavik and Aryan is just having a rating difference of minimal 11 points, which is like negligible, right? Now the bishop is even hanging, so white needs to immediately bring their bishop into the defense. And okay, what would you suggest the white? How can they still continue even if they are down in the material?
Okay, at this level they can still continue, and the only thing they can think of is just attacking the black pieces. Like, first protect your own piece, bishop d3, a4, a5, just try to attack the black pieces, right? And just don't exchange the pieces from now on.
True. I would like to add a point. kid can try to bring their each and every piece into the activity. So if you can overpower your opponent in terms of even activity, they might have more material, but that material might be useless, right? So that is a suggestion. But a great tactic we see by the black, they sneakily brought the queen f6, building some pressure on f2, which the rook wasn't defending, and a simple fork. And I think now black looks too strong. Just simply take and just rook takes. This is also hanging, but yeah, I think all these trades are just making the game easier for the black, right?
Exactly.
Truly. Now, even if you give up your queen for a rook, you should still be fine winning this position. It's just the matter of simplification.
E4, pawn pushing down, and just queen f1 coming there, and it's
Definitely, and then queen f1. Yeah. So we often tell our kids to use the passer, right?
Yes.
A passer is something that we never want to miss upon.
True.
I'll be back just in 1 minute. To the point, you can just guide our viewers with some of your ideas, right?
Sure.
Just a second. Yeah.
Okay. Can you change the position? Okay, that's fine. So here the position, I think, yeah, black can play queen e3 followed by queen f2, and the rook is going to just get captured here. So as I said, my recommendation is that how to avoid the blunders. This is for all the parents and the kids, that two things you have to keep in mind. Yes, just remember those things, that think about the moves which you play and think about the opponent's ideas. What my opponent is playing, why my opponent is playing the particular move, right? If we do these two things, then of course the blundering rate, not seeing your pieces hanging like that, all those things are going to be get solved very quickly. So
the position is now completely simplified for the black. It's just the matter of a couple of moves and the game is ending. Okay, I think black will find a way. We can go to our next request, I guess.
yeah. Sure.
Okay, we are getting a request for Heenal right now. We need to see how are they playing right now. Okay, so Heenal is playing as white and Joel is playing as black. What is your take on this position?
Actually, when I look at the material, it's, I think, round even about. But when it comes about the king safety, black's king is not so stable. It's on the g8, and the rook coordination, it should be on f8. So I think white gave a check on e1. So the king moved to f8 and then it moved on g8. Right. So white should have some slight edge in this position, and he should look around to have a post for the knight, like knight d2, to play either knight c4 or knight e4, like that.
Definitely. The knight outpost can make a brilliant difference. I think for the black, I would recommend king h7, first connecting the rooks and to at least complete the opening, then bring them into the battle and have some skirmish and make your game work, right?
Exactly.
Yes. So for the black, I think they need to first connect the rook, and for the white, definitely as you stated, the knight outpost can become one of the terrific ways to continue here. Even white can think about bringing their their queen into the battle, connecting their rooks. There can be a lot of ways here.
And there should be idea of batteries as well. Abhishek, can you tell our viewers about what is a battery?
Yes. So whenever we have a control of a line, which is called as a file in chess, right? So whenever we have the control and our rook or our queen is controlling that file, where we are dominating it, we are ruling this file, we try to include more attackers of the same, which can attack on the same line. Like two rooks can attack on a standing line. So we put two rooks in one line and we increase our strength and our grip on that particular file. That is called as a battery. And it can not only be a standing battery, but there can be a diagonal battery with the queen and the bishop doing the same thing, right? Right. So that is a battery in chess, and it just increases our grip over a file or over a diagonal.
True. Uh,
I think black bishop is also well placed, but they need to figure out some way to get rid of their own pawn, right? At some point, if this pawn moves, the bishop can suddenly come into the life, and then f2 can be the target that black can try to attack later on in the game.
yeah. One of the sides is to just change the side also. One idea could be to just play a5, because if the pawn pushes, then the pawn is hanging. And this is often just missed by the students, that which side we should play. The side, if our opponent is dominating one of the sides, we should try to seek the other side of the board. Right.
Definitely. Currently, the king side is being dominated by the white, right? So they need to play on the queen side in order to get some game. Okay, fine.
Bishop.
When I'm looking at this position, I'm also thinking of kicking this knight away, right? This outposted knight is putting a lot of pressure in the black's camp. So, there one idea could be just going b5 and trying to kick this outpost, or kick it from the outpost. But then there is like knight to b5, and then there could be idea of knight c6, right?
Then again,
If
a
the
new
pawn
outpost
moves.
is there. Right.
Definitely. So I think black needs to be really careful in this position, even on the queen side.
Right. Rook e8 can be a good choice from the black side, just to kick out the white queen. with rook E8.
Yes. And I think the white can then think about, rook b1 as well to bring this last piece into the battle, right?
Exactly. That's
Just
really
even
good.
activating can, it can help a lot. So definitely the position is looking even, Steven, but I think white is having a domination here.
Right. They played it.
Yes, they have brought their piece into the battle. Now, where the white queen can go in this position?
Queen f4 is one of the choice. Queen f3 is also fine. Queen f4 just puts a bit of pressure on the d6 pawn.
Definitely. And here we also realize that having that dark square bishop into the battle could have made a difference, right?
Right. If the bishop was on e7, then it would have been better. You're right.
Yes. The bishop could have made the difference to attack especially when you don't have those bishops, you lose your long range activity on the board in your attack, and then your attack becomes a bit slow and sluggish. So definitely preserving the bishops is one of the ideas that we often give to our students. And as I said, if we go b5, then definitely knight c6 stands more stronger in the game.
Yes.
And
knight c6 is the best square for the knight.
Yes. Now even the rook can infiltrate on e7, right? With the support of the knight.
Sure. And after that, I think they can use if black doesn't blunder anything. Of course, if they blunder something, then white is going to win. If they doesn't blunder anything, then there should be a strategy of mouse and cat. Like, if black doesn't do anything, just tie down the black's position, and then you can slowly bring your g and h pawns to attack the black king. This is a very good strategy.
Definitely. The knight has been played for a check. King h8 looks fine there, but there's nothing much into the position.
King h8, knight g6 is there. Tactics running.
Knight g6, pawn takes, and then queen takes on the rook, right?
Then rook e8.
Definitely.
The game is over there.
Yeah, rook e8 is also then completely losing.
You are right. They found it. They found it. Really good.
Yeah, brilliant calculation by Henel here.
Right.
Yes, it's just a matter of a couple of moves. Okay, I guess we can. Okay, I mean, this is fine. Like knight captures rook, king takes.
Now just queen e4 or queen e2 should be enough.
Yes, threatening that mating attack. I mean, queen a4, and we can even think of queen h7, and then also if they defend the square, right?
You are right.
We can just enter into the mating knight, and we can suddenly attack the king square, and the position is falling.
King g8 is the best move. King g8 is the best move which is played.
Yes. Oh, no. Can White have thought about going, Rook E7 in the position?
Sure, and this is one of the things. One more thing, problem there is with the kids that they don't manage their time well. Sometimes when they have a lot of time, they just don't use it. 1 minute is, I think, sufficient. Yeah.
Ooh, White has lost a queen.
This was
Good
what
game
I was.
though. Yeah. Yeah. So generally we tell our kids, right? Yeah.
Take the time properly and don't
Oh,
blunder the
yes.
things.
Definitely. We shouldn't blunder, right? We can take time and we can come stronger as a player.
Yes, if you lose on time, then that's a different thing. You should not get worried if you lose on time. But if you get lost on the board in a position which you was completely winning, and you just thought that okay, I'm going to keep the extra time and like something like that, then it's going to hurt a lot, right? So that should be avoided.
Definitely. I'm quickly going to give our viewers a glimpse of the leaderboard. So on the 10th position, we have Kailash with 8 points. Then we have Raghav on the 9th position with 8 points. Then we have Joel Asher on the 7th position with 8 points. Then we have Daishnavi the leaderboard has changed a bit. She has went on the 7th position. And on the 6th position, we have Aryan with 10 points. Then we have Kian on the 5th position with 11 points. Then we have Fardan with 12 points on the 4th position. Then we have Cavalier on the 3rd position with 12 points and with 100% of win rate. So this kid has not lost a single game yet, and he is on a streak of 4 wins in a row. Then we have Bhavik on the 2nd position,
Right.
with 14 points, and this kid's rating is just 1,000. Still, this kid is in the top 2. And on the 1st position, we have Raghav with 14 points and an 83% of win rate, which is like a very good number. Okay, so we are going to take on our next request. So the next request is for Anubhav. He's playing from white against Parth. He's playing from black. And now we are witnessing an endgame. So what is your take here? I mean, black is completely dominating. So what would you like to suggest the white in this position?
White should try to not trade down the pieces, but as you saw that white just allowed to trade the pieces. This is a very important advice. I think we have seen this a lot of times, the simplification importance, that if you are playing the opposite side, you must avoid that. And if you are playing the side with extra material, you must trade the pieces, right? This is the most.
Like even moving the bishop could have fixed the problem for the white, right?
That's true.
And generally we suggest the students, when you have less material, try to trade down your pawns and not the pieces. Because let's say you are left with a knight and a king. An opponent is left with a king and a rook. Then they won't be able to practically mate you. So whenever you have less material, try to trade down the pawns for the draw positions. The game has progressed and black is completely winning now. There is no thought process in that. So what is missing by the black here? Why are they not able to get a mate in this position?
That's actually one of the possible reasons can be that they just lack or they just forgot that there is a waiting move technique that in this position, before this king d1, they can just wait 1 or 2 more moves and just force the white king to the corner and then checkmate. Right, that's the technique. Yes.
So generally, the point is their king should not be between our king and our rook, right? So we take the rook on the other side as a waiting move you stated. They can't go king e1, for instance, because rook h1 is a simple mate. And then they go bishop distance and we just start chasing their king repeatedly to the end, as you said, and then we can easily win them, right?
Exactly.
But anyways,
they can just capture the squares one by one, and then there comes a corner and then just game over. True.
Exactly. It was that waiting move, I think that was lacking and the kid can work to improve it. But anyways, the black has managed to win, so they deserve this. I would like to take I would like to take a game of the Raghav against Jian. So when we look at this position, Jian is playing as black and Raghav is playing as white. We are into the early game and we are into the Italians main line.
Italians.
Yes. I think
Bishop B6.
white can... Yes.
Bishop b6 is played here. Yeah, you are correct. White can either castle or white can just play, e5 and just put the pressure on the black side. And bishop b4 is the correct move. And when we actually teach the kids about the opening, what I do during the classes, just a quick revision of the 5 moves. If I teach 5 moves, then a quick revision of that. And what students should do from their side, just revise this opening a bit, like 5 moves or even 2 moves. If you just play it one by one, then you just stop doing the mistakes. Like if we see the top 3 players in this event, they are just playing the opening quite perfectly, and that is what making the most of the difference there. Right.
And I have heard from a lot of chess experts who says opening doesn't matter at the early level, right? But my point is pretty clear. You can only showcase your middle game and end game skills when you come out of the opening, right? What if your opponent just dominates you in the opening itself? Where are you going to take your middle game, end game? So opening has to be very much precise, I think.
Right.
That is my take on that. Because everything
right.
else comes later on.
Exactly. And I think this advice is for the students who blunder their pieces. The students who don't blunder their pieces more often, for them opening is really important. The most important thing, I think, is the opening.
Yes.
Oops.
Yes. Now, I mean, we can bring the knight around or something, but it is not enough, right? And this is the reason why we tell our kids, do not leave your king in the center. Castling just takes one move. You play 50 to 70 moves in one game on an average. So just go and castle, use that one move to make your king safe. It will make your life really easy. Your game's really easy. So castling is that one of the things that you definitely need to follow. Okay, we are getting the next request for Rudransh. Okay, so in this game, Rudransh is playing as black against Sony. They're playing as white. Okay, it seems like we are again into an early opening skirmish, right?
True, and it's the Petrov. Maybe it's the Petrov, probably. And
yes, we can take. We can review that definitely.
E5.
Yes.
Normal stuff. Oh, D5.
What was the purpose of D5 here?
D5,
no
I
idea.
think the student is not well aware of the consequences related to losing the pieces. When they will play more tournaments day by day, months by months, when they will play more tournaments, they will realize what's the reason why I lost. That was the reason of losing my pieces. That is the most important thing when you play a game.
Definitely. And here we see, I think white is 2 pawn up. Oh, bishop captures knight.
That is there and there.
Oh. I mean, kids, here, you have enough time. Play it slowly. Focus on basics of the game.
4 minutes 56 seconds.
Yeah, that is enough to complete this game. Look. Why?
This is the thing which I don't like. If you lose a game in 2 moves, even that's not the problem. If you don't take your time and you move in like a completely fine position, that's the worst thing, which I don't like. That's why the kids, they should take the time. The game just ended in a few minutes.
Be really slow, okay? Approach it, slowly with calm mindset. Think why my opponent has played my move. What can I do the best in the position? Just by going slow, you will improve your game around by 50%, okay? 50% of your problems will get resolved just by playing slow and accurate. That is the only thing you have to do. Think twice before making the move. You will see a massive improvement in your game. Yes, we are into the last 10 minutes of the tournament. I'm going to take a random page now, so all the kids get opportunity to get featured in the stream. Can you take a random name from this list, please?
Summer.
Yes.
Summer 20. Right.
Yes.
Let's see the game.
So, Summer is playing from the pieces of blacks against Elin Chilean. He's playing from the pieces of white. I think Elin is completely dominating here in terms of the material, right?
You are right. And also the position wise, the white king is just horribly placed. And I think the game is going in the black's favor. But as we know, the game can turn around if white just tries to, bring out the pieces. But there's a less chance of that.
Pretty less, because there's queen captures on b2 as well, and then the king c1 could be one of those ideas, but then there's rook infiltrating, so you can't survive that. It's too difficult. The point is, I think white has missed the castle. I want to just quickly wrap around the game. I want to wrap this game a bit to see what has happened. So Summer has tried something like fried liver in the position.
Right. And they just succeeded in this.
Yeah, they did succeeded, but you cannot compromise on your king's safety no matter how good you get at the material, right? Because king itself has infinite points.
Yes, that's there.
So there is nothing left for that part. I'm rather going to say.
And Abhishek, can you tell the parents and the kids that what should be their general idea at this level? Why should they play their moves like after the opening principles? Of course, there are students who are not following that, but there are some cases like they just play the opening principles well. And what should be the idea then at this level? When some of the opening they just blunder their pieces. What should be the idea? Can you please
the first idea is to bring your heavy pieces into the battle, which includes your queen and rook. One queen is equal to 3 minor pieces, right? So if you activate one queen after developing all of your minor pieces, try to bring your queen and your rooks into the battle first. Then it's about going onto the opponent's half of the board. Try to move your pieces in the opponent's half of the board while creating some threats, like attacking undefended pieces and trying to create mating threats, going behind the opponent's king. And if the open files and open diagonals are not available, then they can exchange some pawns in the center just by rolling the center pawns. And after getting that open files and diagonals, they can easily play the middle game. So these are some general universal advice for the beginner intermediate kids. I think the black just managed to survive and win that game. Okay, we can take another random request now. Just a random game. Okay, let's take a game of Rishi in this position. So, Rishi is playing from the pieces of white against Agam. He's playing from the pieces of black.
Okay.
When we look at this position, both kings have castled, but white is looking a bit strong because queen captures h6 is coming on the board right now.
The 2 tips which I told today, those must be followed if we want to just not hang our pieces or a checkmate like that. Just verify your moves before playing it.
Definitely. And if this bishop moves, then there was even a mate in one. If you can manage to get this bishop out of the diagonal. Yes. So, bishop captures rook, and then the position is, I think, quite okay for the white. They can still get a victory here. You just need to bring a helper around the queen, right? And some or the other way.
True, that is right. Knight c7, knight e5, like that, or knight e8.
Definitely. You just need to bring around the helper, and I think the knight is even enough to make that thing work.
That's true.
Yes. Knight check. It's not even needed, right? Knight check. The king can escape here, but there's a simple mate in one. Yeah, definitely. Brilliant game by the Rishi here, showcasing very good game. Right. Yeah. Okay. We are into the last 5 minutes of the tournament, and I'm really keen to see who is going to come up as a winner of this tournament. Just because there is not a big rating difference, right? The points difference. The 10th position has 10 points, and even the 3rd position has just 16 points, right?
16 points. So it is the race.
So the difference is, yes. Right. And Cavalier has yet been undefeated throughout this game. So we can take the game
Oh,
of him right now.
sure.
Cavalier is
That,
playing as black and Manvik is playing as white. Can
oh, that.
you give us the overview of this game? What do you think?
So as I can see, in general, when you have 100% win rate in a tournament or 100% no lose score in a tournament, generally you play very solid in a particular game. And as I can see here, black is playing really solid here. Rook on c5. As we can see, all the uh, morals of the chess principles, everything is being followed here. Yes, and the forks and all those things, these are just the rewards of that. And maybe I think they can just bring the rook to c2 or rook b8 and just keep attacking the opposing side.
Yeah.
And this game, the material, I think white is having two bishops for a rook and a pawn. So I think this is going to be really interesting to watch out.
Definitely. A bishop pair is better than a rook, by the way, right?
That's
So if the white can, get the bishops on good diagonals, and okay, there is
initiative for black there.
definitely.
Oh, oops. Oh, that's
That was not expected actually. Yeah.
right.
Was a 1400, he could have taken, I guess, a bit of more time to come out of the position. Yes.
True.
Parents, when is the next broadcast? The next broadcast is going to be on the next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. IST. And I would request all the viewers, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon. So whenever we go live next time, you will get a notification and you will not miss on our next live stream.
True.
And hit the like button if you are liking the work we are doing. Okay, we can take on some other game. I mean, we are in the last 2 minutes, and I think the top three has already been decided, right?
Right. But who knows that a game is going on like the first or second?
Yeah,
Is any
like
game
this
going
guy
on?
can score like 4 points, right? And he can like surpass the. Yeah, so we can go through this game. So, yes. So Raghav is playing as black, Anubhav is playing as white. And when we look at this position, I think the black is slightly following the principles more, right?
That's true. And the knight, it's kind of a semi-open position, so a knight is not a bad choice here. The knight is not. It's not like the knight is being dominated by the bishop. I think both the pieces are doing well here.
Yeah. I mean, knight c4 can be that outpost approach here, and that can be a permanent piece which can give some trouble to the. There is queen captures this b7, but then we can like win the tempo, right? From the open file.
They can sacrifice 2 pawns for some activity out there. That's true.
Yes. We are in the last 1 minute, and we need to see if Raghav can, get this game. I just want to check the leaderboard once. Yeah. Anubhav needs to get this game.
Raghav is already leading the game tournament.
Yes, Raghav is already leading, and it's for the Anubhav, which is going to decide his position in the top 5, right?
Right.
Definitely. Okay, we are in the last 30 seconds. I think at this point, the kids must be blitzing out their moves because they must be looking to improve their overall positioning on the leaderboard, right?
Right.
Here we can't see that because these are high-rated players and they understand the value of playing a slow and a composed chess. They are not worried about the positioning, but they are worried about the good quality of the game.
Right. And Abhishek, I wanted to ask you that when these kids just play the tournament, what should be their behaviors, like all the guidelines, that how should they sit while playing the game? Should be distracted to something else, or should they focus on the game? Should they use should they sit on the sofa, or should they what should they do while playing the games?
Yes. So the tournament has ended. I'm quickly going to take our viewers to the the leaderboard, but before that, I would like to answer your question. So this is going to be important. The first thing is your back has to be straight and your head has to be straight. Because if your back is straight in that position, you will have more active mind. You won't feel lethargic, right? Because your physicality is linked to your mentality. So back has to be straight. Your eyes have to maintain a good distance from your screen where the pieces should not look too small, too big. And maintaining a composure, a sense of patience will help the kid to have a very good game. Obviously, losing shouldn't feel too bad. Winning shouldn't feel too good. You have to keep your emotions neutral, and you have to take the learning out of the games, right? Because even if you're winning a lot of games, the point is you should not get overconfident, right? You have to maintain. You need to be emotionally intelligent, and I think these are all the guidelines which will help you to go longer in your journey. So these are the things. Okay, let's head to the leaderboard. Would you like to, showcase the leaderboard to our viewers?
Yes. So the first position, so the 10th position it goes to Summer. The 9th position it goes to Starfish Pikachu. 8th position Jian. 7th position Kianj, and 6th position is Kailash. 5th position is Anubhav. 4th position goes to Bhavik, and 3rd position goes to Desnavi, and 2nd position is Cavalier, and 1st position goes to, actually Cavalier also played really good, right? He hasn't lost a single game, so both are equally good for me. Both have done really good.
But I would still say, Raghavesh did really great. But then Cavalier has been undefeated with that 100% of win rate, which clearly shows his dedication and his, his love for the game, right? He's not ready to even give up on a single game. His discipline is like that 100%. If the win rate is 100%, without discipline, you cannot, compete, right? And when we look at the Raghav also, he lost that game to Cavalier only because I think Raghav didn't make the move. Otherwise, this game must have been a game of twists and turns and more excitement, I would rather say, for our viewers. And Vaishnavi made on the 3rd position with the win rate of 78%. So I congratulate all the winners for your success. I congratulate all the participants. You came here without worrying about the wins and losses, just to gather experience, practice regularly. So what will help you further in your journey? You need to regularly solve puzzles which are assigned by your coaches. You need to regularly play 2 to 3 games. And if you do it consistently over a good period of time, you will emerge as one of those winners in this list in the coming tournaments. So that is it for today, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. We are going to meet in the next stream. Thank you so much, Nirav, Coach Nirav, for enlightening us with your knowledge. We really appreciate that. And we are going to meet our viewers in the next stream, right?
Yes, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much. If you want to share, anything to our viewers, definitely the stage is open for you.
Right. So congratulations, first of all, to all the winners and all the top tenors and those even who have participated in this event, like the students between 10th to 15th position. You should not get worried. It's just a part of the game. Sometimes you lose the game, sometimes you win the games. My right now the chess.com rating is 2350, but when I go back to the 4 or 5 years back, that was 1700. So I also thought like, what's the benefit of playing like that, the tournaments? But when you gradually play and just focus on your mistakes, like the tips which I've shared in this YouTube channel right now, this stream, and also Abhishek sir, he has shared the feedbacks regarding this. You must follow those things. Just solve the assignments which are being given to you. Just take every word of your coach, of your particular coach during the game analysis as very serious, and just play regular chess. Don't skip it a single day. And if you have time, if you have like summer vacation, winter vacation, playing a classical game is also fine. It will showcase your patience level, how much you can play for a particular game, like sitting like 40 minutes, 50 minutes for a particular game, and also just play regularly. That's my advice. Okay, so thanks.
Thanks. So viewers, take care till then. We'll meet in the next stream on the next Saturday at the same time. Thank you. So we are ending, and thanks for tuning in once again.